Let's see. There we go. All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Sid with the huge convention and huge live. And I'm really excited. I've got Ricky Regalado is our guest today. Ricky, how are you? Thank you for being here.
I am doing very, very good, man. I'm happy to be here.
Cool. And you're in Chicagoland, right?
I'm in Chi-Town, born and raised.
Okay. What part? Are you like in Chicago proper, like Oak Hills? Or
I can say I have lived in Chicago. I had a Chicago address, a Chicago zip code. I'm not one of those that says it and lives 2 hours away in the burbs, but now I live in the burbs. Now I live in the burbs. I'm in Glen Ellen.
Got you. All right, so I'm gonna go through a little introductions. I mentioned when before we started live, as like when I heard about you, and you guys are gonna be joining us at the huge convention and be kind of a your event is gonna be the 2 days prior to our event, but everybody's gonna intermingle. And I was like, oh, it sounds like a good guy. And then I looked up I've got your bio, and then I did some homework, and I was like, oh my gosh! And the way I described it when I posted this was like, Ricky Regalado is on fire. On fire. This is some of the background stuff that I found that is so exciting and intriguing. But I'd like you to fill in the blanks. So I'm gonna go through a couple things. This could be a really long intro, but I'll try to shorten it. So you've got Regalado Services. That's your commercial cleaning service. You started in 2012 with hard work and smart moves. Now you're in 25 states, maybe more. Over 700 employees, multiple 8-figure business in, halfway across the country, which is really exciting. You're on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies for 3 years. Has there been a fourth year since then?
Fourth year, yeah.
4. Okay, for 4 years. And you've got Route, found at getroute.com. Route, that's your commercial cleaning software. A couple cool things about that. One, it's end-to-end sales and management. But the second thing that I've very rarely, if I've ever seen, is that you have a community aspect within the software to help owners connect with each other and collaborate, which is huge. Yeah. You're partners in one of the largest, the janitorial store, one of the cleaning suppliers, one of the most prominent in the country. And you've got your own real estate group, and you've got cleaning and cocktails, which at first I thought just sounded like a cool hobby. And then I looked and I was like, well, this is what cleaning cocktails is about. It's all about networking and collaboration, and you have speakers and you have a full agenda. But from my perspective, one of the most impressive things I saw was the culture of your companies is so community oriented. And you've got over 20 family members working employed in Regalado services. Is this the full enchilada, or is this like the tip of the iceberg? So I feel like you've got more stuff going on in the background.
I got more stuff going on, but we could keep it to this. Yeah, I mean, Regalado is my heart and soul. It opened up the doors to everything you just said. Everything came from taking a risk and launching that cleaning company. When, again, the first few years, Sid, it was like I would go to a networking event and I wouldn't really be proud that I was a cleaning business owner. I was like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business, and I really wouldn't like yell it across the room. Now I walk in, I am Ricky the cleaner. I want you to know that I own a cleaning company, and it is the best thing ever. And here's the reasons why. And like I have a list of 10. So it's been a big change and a transformation from the early years for sure.
Okay, so which came first? Was like the chicken or the egg? The change to go, I am Ricky the cleaner, and this is the best thing going. Was that in the head first, or was it success of the business that helped you, that you go like, no, I'm going to own this identity and run with it?
Man, that's a great, I've never been asked it like that. That's a great question. Success did come. Like when we hit and surpassed our first $1 million in revenue, I was like, oh, okay. Like there's something here. And then we hit 2 million, and I was like, well, there's really something here. I think we could really do something. My mom had come over. My aunt was working. My wife's, mother came over, and I was like, we could build something here. Why don't I just go heads in and full throttle? Because the first few years, Sid, I would always say this was a side hustle. Like I'm going to go out and go to corporate, but we got this thing. It's going to be nice. It was when I started to hit the multi-million-dollar mark. I was like, no, wait a minute. There's a lot more here that I can uncover.
Yeah, that's cool. This is the thing, not the stepping stone to something. It's very interesting. When I started our cleaning company, it was strictly, it's like I have to pay rent, and that was my only goal. It was like make enough to pay rent, and then it was next month rent, and it was like, oh, and then it was like 5-6 years in, I was like, wait a second, This is a business. Like this
Oh yeah.
has legs and wheels and all that stuff. So a handful of questions back in 2012 when you started, and you kind of touched on this, but like when you first started Regalado, what was your biggest goal then?
The biggest goal was to really make the money that I was making as a salaried W-2 employee. I was like, I have to make as much money as we can so that I can actually focus and pay attention here without having to worry to shuffle different jobs and, keep working that kind of a, stressful type of environment. And then it was, how do I hit the $1 million mark? Can I hit the 2 million? Can I hit the 5? Can I hit 10? Like revenue did drive me, don't get me wrong, in the first few
Yeah.
years, but then in the middle of between 5 to 6 million, there was a moment that I said, wait, we're creating jobs here. And then it became a shift of how do I create more jobs and impact more people's lives around me, and have some fun with it, because it became it is still a lot of fun to own a business in the cleaning industry.
Yeah. Yeah. So if your goal in 2012 was like just to replace the income you had as a W-2 salary employee, like now, 13 years later, what's your biggest goal now?
My biggest goal, wow. So I'd say right now we are trying to get to the $50 million revenue mark, 50 million annual revenue and
Mhm.
1,000 employees.
Okay. Do you feel like within the markets that you're already serving, can you grow and expand in those markets, or you're like going to open in 26, 27, 28 states and keep growing that way?
No, we're in the position, which is very exciting, is we haven't really grown in the markets we're in. Our clients take us into those states. It's not like I said, hey, state, I'm going to set up a marketing channel, a marketing campaign, and hit all these states. We went there because our clients took us there. Now we've recognized states and kind of beachhead markets that we're like, hey, we're here already. We have an anchor client. 2, 3. Let's build an entire branch. Let's build a business in this market, and start to really scale the company. So that's exciting. Is we have foundational pieces in multiple markets right now.
That's cool. Did you have a like I don't know what your corporate job was before, but did you have a background in organizational leadership and management and stuff like that? No.
Zero, zero. Like I was scared as shit, Sid, because I had never led a team. I was never a manager. I just knew I had ideas. And it was in 2012, as I'm working the other job, that on the side, I'm creating a proposal to buy this franchise. And I'm like doing the thing of, I'm getting out. I was already out. I was that employee that was leaving corporate to go do my thing because I had ideas. And I always was told in that role, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but hey, stay in your lane. You're an account manager. You don't really
Yeah.
need to do that. That's too creative. Like we're not paying you for that. I was like, what the? Well, why not? I got ideas, and that is what really kickstarted everything. Is I wanted to make my own ideas come to life.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. So with a sales background,
Mhm.
when you started, you was like, all right, I just got to sell some accounts. I'll figure out how to clean later, or how did you get it
So
going?
so we had bought. I'm not sure because I just did another podcast. I think I mentioned it in that one earlier. So we had started in 2012 with the Coverall franchise. Coverall is a very good franchise, huge. They taught us the fundamentals and foundations of cleaning, right? How to clean, how to buy cleaning supplies, how to train. In 2015, quickly realized, hey, uh, this is not for us. We want to build our own brand. So sold the entire franchise back, started at zero again in 2015. And
Okay.
Rosalado was born. Rosalado is my last name, is Regalado. My cousin's is Pedroza. You put the two last names together, it's Rosalado.
Yeah.
That's the name. That's where it came from. And from there, we started winning 5 day a week accounts, 7 day a week accounts, 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month. And we really set the tone for us our way. And Rosalado was born.
That's cool. That's very cool. So, with both with your cleaning company, with Get Route, with the software, and with cleaning and cocktails, like one of the common theme or thread that I saw on everything was collaboration. When you and I
Oh, yeah.
spoke briefly about cleaning cocktails, you talked about speed dating type of scenario where it's all about collaboration. Has that always been in your nature? Is this part of your culture? Like, tell me a little more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm 100% Mexican American, and everything I knew growing up was like there was always a lot of people around. My family was big, my family's friends, and we had always people at the house, and everything we did was together. So I just took that into like building this business. That it's a lonely world, man. I've been there cleaning toilets at 1 in the morning, headphones on, uh, mad because I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm cleaning toilets and mopping floors, and I'm 31, 32, 33 years old. And I started to realize as I connected with other fellow cleaning business owners, or I started connecting with friends and family members that cared about what we were trying to do and were thinking of the same mission, it became more better and more fun. So to this day, I don't like to do anything by myself. I like to bring people on, partner, team up, and collaborate. So it was only inevitable that that is the thread between all of our companies is we are stronger together when we do things.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Will you describe Route,
Yeah.
your software? Because it's all about end to end sales to completion of the in the cleaning business. But tell me more about that. And I've got a question for you about it.
Yeah. And as you see, that is where I spend most of my time. Route is everywhere. I'm a big branding guy and I'm a big
Yeah.
basketball. So I got the
Oh yeah.
basketball
Now we're
jersey.
talking.
No, yeah. So no, Route came in 2018, 19. I was challenged by my wife. She said, Rick, we were 2, 3 million at the time. We've got an ops team. We're growing. We got an area manager. And she's like, why are you still working in the business still? 10, 12 hours a day doing bids, walkthroughs, proposals. I was like, shit, you're right. Like, what am I doing all that for? And at the time, there was no technology, in my opinion, to help you with a walkthrough. In commercial cleaning, walkthroughs are essential. They
Yeah.
give you the portion of the space, the scope of work. You get to understand what you're doing. So I built the first ever walkthrough tool here in Chicago.
Wow.
I pitched the wireframe idea to a competition for Capital One, and I won $40,000 for the pitch competition. And since then, I have just been infatuated with building technology because that tool, we went from pen and paper, we digitized the walkthrough, bidding, and proposals. And I went from 2 million to 4, 7, 9, 13 million, and so on. Because my whole team, we had shared knowledge base of sales across the team. So you didn't even have to know cleaning or how to sell cleaning to be able to do a proper walkthrough and a proposal.
Wow. Okay. So that shared knowledge base is pretty phenomenal. Does that help you allow you to open up in new locations really rapidly,
Yeah.
or more easily?
So because then how we scaled into the other cities, and this is where the other part of Route, which is what I'm working on today, which is a marketplace, is Rosalado scaled into 30 plus states because of subcontracting. So there are some states and markets still that we self-perform, but there are many markets that we don't self-perform. We don't have supervisory. So we will subcontract, which I like to call like affiliate partnerships with
Yeah.
other local cleaning companies because they know the market, they're local, and they just know how to do the service better than we could from Chicago. So subcontracting became a big thing in our scale strategy. And that is what now with Route, we're building the first marketplace that digitizes the subcontracting relationship and allows primes and subs to connect digitally, share business, and grow together.
Okay. And then, so is that the question I had for you about Get Route was when I was going through the site and understanding what Route is, um, there is that collaborative piece where
Yep.
is it is it shared learning or is it strictly we're like connect the dots, like swipe
Yeah.
right?
No, so that's in essence, right? So like the marketplace itself, the driver is profile. Every cleaning company creates a profile. Within your profile, you have a lot of data points that you enter. Who are you? What's your size? Are you part of the ISSA or BSCI? What do you have the EOS as a management system? What's your org chart looks like? What markets do you service? What's your pricing points? Like you get very intimate with the cleaning company so that we allow them to really connect and share conversations with each other as well. And then we're connected to Circle. Circle is a big, as you know, community group where we share a lot of that content and podcast episodes, training material in that community. Because again, the more we share, the more knowledge base that's given across the board, the better this industry is going to level up. And pricing is one of those biggest ones. Sales and pricing is tough. If you sell a bad account, you lose, and if you lose, you get frustrated. So like, let's sell some profitable accounts.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, one of part of your vision now is like helping level up the entire industry, like,
Mhm.
and let's make everybody better. Tell me more about that.
So that is kind of the big thing that we're doing at the convention. Is we're doing the first ever that it's called the Deal Bar, and the Deal Bar Sid is where touched on it earlier. It's a curated matchmaking experience, which again we took a page out of. If you're familiar with procurement vetting events, again they do it with minority-owned contractors. People's Gas, Exelon, Xfinity, universities will do a procurement like speed dating type of thing.
Yeah.
This is the same thing in essence, but this is strictly for prime and subcontract. So
Okay.
primes have business, they need local subs, but they don't really ever connect in person. So we're going to put these big primes. I mean, we've got probably almost $4.5 billion worth of cleaning companies in one room at the huge show. And they're not just looking for janitorial. That's why I want the huge audience to know too, Sid, is they're also looking for high-rise window washers. They're looking for pressure washing companies. They're looking for landscaping companies. They're looking for residential. They're looking for specialty service contractors that they can sub out because they manage the entire facility on the commercial side. So just because you do work for a home doesn't mean you can't do that type of service for a commercial facility if you're set up the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've had, when you told me about that the other day, I was like, that's really fun and really intriguing. It's like, just cut out a lot of the fluff and go, who has need, who provides, let's get together. Bam, everyone wins really fast.
Yeah, and they went fast because what do they always say? It doesn't matter what industry you're in. People like to buy from people they like and people that they get to know each other. So what better than to get to know somebody in person? Because I mean, you're talking about I've got Merchant, Service by Medallion, Marsden, 4M, Clean Mark, Clean Tech, CNS, HHS, Diversified, some of the biggest cleaning companies in the country, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of revenue, and their C-suites coming here to this event to sit down and talk to subcontractors. It's never
Yeah.
been done.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Okay. So make sure, let me know, is this correct? Cleaningandcocktails.com?
Yes, it
Did I
is.
get it right? Okay, good.
And there's going to be cocktails, Sid. There's going to be
Yeah, I know,
cocktails.
right?
Come on.
That has an appeal of its own. All right. With the cleaning cocktails, like, give me a little bit of the backstory. We'll bring it up to present day to the huge, but I want to say, like, when did you decide to do this?
So funny enough, it happened on a walkthrough. I was doing a walkthrough of a hotel, and this was pre-COVID, February 2020. Remember that moment? February 2020, the month before COVID. So this didn't come out because of COVID, which a lot of
Yeah.
podcasts I feel they did. I was doing a walkthrough. I'm doing my thing. I'm using the app that I made, right? Taking pictures, building the portrait, and I see this door and it says janitorial closet. Well, guess what? As a BSC, I have to get in that closet. I talk to the GM. Hey, can you open this up? I need to take some pictures and kind of assess. This is our headquarters of the property. And he's like, no, Rick, this is actually not a actual closet. This was a room that was before in the previous building. We actually turned this into a speakeasy bar. I was like, come again?
What?
He's like, yeah, this is a speakeasy bar, the janitorial closet. I was like, what? I was like, open this up. And he's opened it up, and there's the mop sink, there's the Clorox bottles, there's the mop sticks, and then there's a bar that had 6 bar seats and like 4 stools and like 2 couches. And I was like, is this like open? Like for real? He's like, yeah, it opens at like 4:00. I'm like, I got to do a podcast here. He's like, well, what's the podcast? I'm like, well, in my head, I don't have one yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're talking cleaning. I see an old fashioned. I'm like, it's called Cleaning and Cocktails.
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah.
he's like, where is it at? I'm like, coming soon. It's coming soon. So when can I get back in here and shoot a podcast? So literally a week later, we come in, shoot in person. So if you go to our YouTube channel and you see our first videos, the first 2 were in that janitor closet. And then March 2020 happened and the hotel shut down. And I had to come to this, and I had to do Zoom, StreamYard, digital, which is, I'm an in-person guy. So the first, we took a couple of years of doing Zooms and doing it like that. But at the minute mid 21, late 21 came, we were back into doing in person. So it's been 4 years, 4.5. We have about 130 episodes of podcasts.
Wow.
But then in 21, the world came back to do real person events, and the audience has started to grow, Sid. So they're like, hey, in our Facebook group, they're like, hey, we want to do an in-person event. I want to meet that guy, Sid, that you interviewed in episode 7. So I gathered a lot of the speakers that I had interviewed, and I put together an event at Regalado headquarters. And dude, in 4 weeks, we had 100 cleaning companies from 20 states.
Really?
And since then, I was like, let's just put some events on once, twice a year. And let's have some fun and kind of create some connections. And that's where the tagline, where cleaners connect, came from.
Okay. Yeah, I really love that because, like, a couple things about it. One is, you're in a world where you people like, let's watch a bunch of YouTube videos so we can learn how to do whatever, like build a cleaning business, whatever. You're like, that's cool. You can learn a ton, but you would never get the impact that you get being in person with a group of people, because it's like the ideas that get generated when you're in person cannot happen in isolation. They
cannot, man. And I'm proud to say, like, we've had now probably 700-800 attendees over the past 3-4 years of events. and we probably have made over hundreds of connections that all over the country, there are many pods of cleaning company owners that met each other, even from that first event that we had. So
Yeah.
it's humbling to know like that we made that kind of an impact, and that's why we keep doing what we're doing. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's cool that it started as fun. And then, I mean, it's still fun, but now it's its own
Now
thing.
it's a business now, dude. Oh my god, logistics, FMB, speakers, sponsorship packages. I'm like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Oh, that's great. So I want to flip back to you. You mentioned it. So with a huge convention, it's almost all like we got power washers, we got window cleaners, the holiday light installers with your janitorial companies that are going to be there for the. I'm going to say the wrong name. I call it speed dating. You said it better.
Deal
What
bar, deal bar. It's the deal
Deal
bar.
Mart? Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, with Deal Mart, is
Deal
that going to
bar.
Deal Bar?
Deal bar.
Hold on.
We're
I'm gonna
at the
write
bar.
it down.
Meet me at the deal bar so we can make some deals. Like, dude, it's pretty cool. It's gonna be. I don't want to give it away too much, but think of like amber lighting, mahogany, green, leather, bookcase, cigars. It's where deals are going to be done.
Nice. Meet me at the Deal Bar. What is that? Both days? Is it when is that going to be happening?
So that is on the 20th. We're going to have a morning session and we're going to have an afternoon session. And we do have an application for subcontractors to apply to get a seat at the table, right? What do we always bitch about, right? As service providers, we want a seat at the table.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to give you that opportunity. Apply, send us a video, pitch the primes. Why should they do business with you?
Yeah.
And why should you get a seat at the deal bar to potentially walk out of this conference with a contract?
Yeah. And you and I spoke about it about a week ago, just briefly. This is not just for a big company that's got 50 employees. Your big window cleaning company does high rise. It could be anybody. Jason just popped in. Jason's down in coastal Florida. He's got a couple of employees that does power washing, does a beautiful job, but he's a smaller operation. But somebody like that could have a seat at the table as well.
100%. Because here's the thing: is people get it wrong. In my opinion, is if you're a janitorial, like Regalado is a janitorial service provider first. We happen to do other services, but we are professionals in the janitorial space. I would love to have a Rolodex and a group of people that can do different services like high rise, right?
Yeah.
A janitorial company doesn't have the insurance all the time to do a high rise. Let's hire the professional, sub it out, and do work with them and partner, because then I trust a guy like Jason who's doing high rise. And then if I have one building, two buildings, three buildings, who do you think I'm going to go to first? I'm going to go to the guy that I trust. I already have a relationship. Insurance is in line. He has business operations and set up. I want to do business there so that I can focus on other areas of the business. So that's why, to your point, I think it's a match made in heaven. I told Mike from the first time he pitched me on doing it is, man, you have attendees that I think our attendees can benefit from getting to know each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a broader perspective and probably a larger perspective as far as revenue and the size of companies. A lot of the guys come to huge started home services. They started like, let's clean Martha Johnson's house. And then they're like, oh, we can clean two houses. Oh, we can do an apartment complex. And then they start dipping into commercial work. But I don't think that a lot of people in our industry are aware of how much money maintenance companies are spending to maintain these buildings. I mean, somebody's got to do that work. So
no, those budgets, and I'll tell you right now, something that we're going to talk about at the convention or at the Cleaning and Cocktails piece of it is we're going to have so our agenda, we have some fun names to it, right? But the last keynote piece is called the signature pour. The signature pour is going to be the COO of 4M, Mike Fitz. I'm going to have Prabhu, who's the CTO of Service by Medallion. One service is 280 million. 4M is about 300 million. And then Jill Frey from Cummins, who's about 30, 40 million, right? So I say numbers because these are bigger sized companies. They are janitorial enterprise style, but they have the same problems that we do at a smaller size. But what they're going to do is share the state of the union of the industry. Where's it going? What's happening with property management? Why are they going to allow facility service providers the ability to manage their own vendors and really own the facility, because the labor force is what keeps the building going from a cleanliness perspective. Property management manages the property, the building, the finances, the tenants let the facilities run the facility. So there's this big thing that's going to happen, which is called decoupling of the property management. That's a topic we will discuss, that I think even down to a pressure washing company with 2 employees should be privy of. Like, they should know where it's coming and where it's going. So they have that acumen to get after that business in their local market.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a gentleman that is spoken in a breakout session for us a couple of years ago. I think his name is Henry Bachman. He's in the DC area, but he just was like, this is how you get big commercial accounts from a power washer's perspective. And he started talking about RFPs and started talking about, like deal with government agencies and doing this and like read the RFP and understand the thing. And most of the guys in there didn't, and this is not a diss, they didn't know what he was talking about. But
Yeah.
he's like, guys, it's not difficult. It's just different. And these buildings have $100,000 budgeted to clean the outside every year. And your entire business is doing 500,000. If you add that one contract, you grow by 20%. Let's step into the game.
Those are real numbers, man. I mean, one of our sessions is going to be called the RFP extractor. Right? So we're going to tear down an RFP with one of our AI tools. We're going to show you how to deconstruct an RFP that's hundreds of pages in minutes, then reconstruct it to be able to submit a proposal. AI cannot solve everything. You need to have business acumen and understand what you're doing first. Yeah. But again, you can go through a 100-page RFP nowadays in minutes. Understand, is this a deal I can do and handle? But to your point, you stack up some of those. Like, I love multi-location. We have one of our big accounts is 900 physical therapy locations in 4 states. Yeah. But it's all you do is you cluster it, you manage the portfolio, you cluster them per subcontractor or per employee that you have, and you manage them in clusters. And then you service them appropriately. So a 1 day a week physical therapy, when you stack 10 of them, that's 10 service days a week that you have now with one type of client in one area. So it's how you look at it and how you structure it. But to your point, that's still a 1 day a week could be a one house clean a week. If you know how to do that and clean one house a week and clean 5 of them a week, then you can do commercial as well. You just have to learn that the level of clean's a little different, but the numbers and the math and the strategy continues to compound.
Yeah, for sure. So I've got a friend that's got a large window cleaning company out of Phoenix. He's got a couple of locations, but in Phoenix, he wanted to start getting these big municipal jobs and some government jobs. And he started going to the requisition meetings and getting RFPs for other stuff. And just in reading, like you said, 100 pages, he's like pouring through all the stuff. And he said he was sitting in the meetings. 2 things happened. One, he started to understand how the application and how the process works and how important it was for the vendor to check every single box, to answer every single question accurately. And then also the people that were doing that were making the decisions saw him a dozen times at these meetings when it wasn't even about window cleaning. And they're like, why are you here all the time? He's like, I need to know how this works. And he did he invested 50, 60 hours or so. Now one of their big contracts there is the Cardinal Stadium. I mean, they do it.
Well, think about it. He's building confidence. Sid, right? It's daunting to look at an RFP sometimes and think like, damn, can I do this? Well, if you don't try and take a risk and like learn it, but once you learn, confidence starts to grow. It's nothing more than just a simple document that just outlines all the scope of work. And if you miss something, they will penalize you. Like I remember the first years I did RFPs, said I would miss things. And I'm like, why did they even call me? It says in the RFP, if you miss this, they will not contact you.
Yeah.
So you have to read it. You got to go through the motions and you will get better. You will get better.
Yeah. And for guys like you and I, that like I'm moving fast and shooting forward. I don't like taking the time to read all the fine print. So your RFP AI tool is pretty fascinating to me.
No, I'm the same way. I will miss things, but it doesn't do all the job. AI is only 50, 60% in my opinion. But it gets you there quicker. And it really gets you through a big document like that to really come up to an informed, good decision.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you one more question specifically with, so a lot of the people that come to the huge convention, their businesses, 500,000 to 4 million. That's kind of the
Yep.
range. Is there a big difference between the challenges and problems that you're solving at 40 million compared to 4 million compared to 400,000?
Hell no. A lot of the same, if anything, even bigger problems come at the, because now your workman's comp is higher. You're starting to deal with some claims. I remember like for the first 8 years, zero car accidents, zero car issues. In 1 year, we had 9 accidents. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
So bigger means bigger problems, but it also means bigger opportunities. The bigger you get, the better you can leverage your banking relationship to then hit that catapult of growth, right? But
Yeah.
again, this industry is fragmented. You said 500,000 to 4 million, Sid. That's pretty much 90% of the cleaning industry is, or even 95% is under 4 million in revenue. So you're talking about 5% of the companies own 95% of the $130 billion in revenue.
Dude.
Very, very fragmented. But that's why to me, subcontracting is awesome because if they have the business, share the business with me as a smaller contractor.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That statement makes me want to go, okay, how do I move into the 5%? Because
That's it. Be
that's where the
part of
rich
the.
are.
We call it. I don't know as much about specialty service contracting, like all of that category, but I know in just the cleaning space itself, janitorial, it is 93% of companies operate at under 1 million in revenue. So I call it the 7% club. When I hear anybody that's over 1 million, the first thing I do is stop them, say, hey, congratulate yourself. And they're like, why? I'm like, you're part of the 7% club. They're like, what? I was like,
Yeah.
dude, think about that. You're part of the top 7% at above 1 million in revenue.
Yeah.
That's astonishing to me. That's fragmentation.
Uh,
But it means there's a lot of room for improvement, to be honest. Though.
yeah. Oh, that's great. So, do you have an application process? How can somebody apply to be part of the deal bar?
So go to cleaningcocktails.com, register for a ticket, and within the ticket, you'll get a response back, and there'll be a form that you have to fill out, and just go through the form. And at the end, it's optional to make a video. I would tell you, make a video, you'll stand out.
Yeah.
It's not mandatory though, but there's a form, probably about, I'd say 8 minutes of your time to fill out. Because we do ask, what geographic area do you cover? Um, like what services do you do? What's your availability? If you want a contract tomorrow, could you start in a week? So we do ask some very personal questions, but it's
Yeah.
really to set you up with the right prime that we're going to put you at a table.
Right on. Man, I love that. Love that. What else? Is there anything else about cleaning cocktails and our time together in Nashville that you would like for people to know?
I would just love as many people that are attending the huge convention, especially those that are pressure washing, high rise window washers, any type of floor care. The prime janitorial company needs your services. So come over to our show earlier. Come in early. It's all about a good time. But get
Yeah.
in Tuesday so you can come to the welcome party Tuesday night for our event, and then Wednesday is a full day of programming, and then we'll all party together that Wednesday night because that's when we all come together with the huge
Yeah.
and cleaning cocktail.
That's excellent. I rarely have FOMO, but today I do because on that Wednesday, like I'm teaching all day. I'm like, damn it. I can't come over to your side of the show because I'm teaching something in a different room. Um,
Oh,
but man,
pop in. You can sneak away
I'll sneak awake. I'll come in during break.
for sure.
We'll put on a video, be like teachers that are bored in their classroom. They're like,
Right.
put on a movie. Everybody watch this, and then they go, outside and do something else. Um, find that janitorial closet, the
Yep. There
original
you go.
speakeasy.
The speakeasy.
Yeah, I love that. Well, first of all, thanks for spending time with us on the show. But I'm really excited about you and your crew. I've met Garen Sprave. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to meeting some of the other cast of characters that you work with and bring around because it's a high level group of operators, and I am
Yes.
really looking forward to what you guys bring to the overall environment there at the Opryland this summer.
No, I'm excited, man. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna be excited to see everybody and be at the huge for the first time too. I've never been.
Right on. Oh, and you're actually going to speak on Friday morning at the Huge. So
Yes.
running a TED talk before our keynote, Marcus Sheridan. So that's very exciting. Everybody get to meet you then too.
Yep. Yep.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate it in every way. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in it's 6 weeks. Six.
6 weeks. Woo,
6 short
it's around the
weeks, and we'll
corner.
be hanging out.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
See
Have a
everybody
great
later.
afternoon. Thanks, Ricky.